Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast, episode 229. Big Dumper, be dumping. I'm Nick. Unfortunately, yet again, Harrison still on the IL. He is doing much, much better. Hopefully, coming back Thursday for that show. But we are on the mend. He will be back soon. But we're wishing him the best of luck. Hopefully, he gets better here soon. And he will be back. But until then, you're stuck with me. So, we have a lot to cover tonight, but first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate programs, Dick's Sporting Goods, MLB Shop, and Lids. You can find these links on the tops of all of our socials. If you just click on them and do your shopping through those links, we get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you, and it's just a great way to support the podcast. We also have our Rounding Third merch. So with Father's Day coming up, tell your family that you would love some Rounding Third merch. Put the bug in their ear. You can find it on Rounding Third Baseball on Etsy. So just another great way to support us. All right, let's jump in. Dumper, still be dumping. So right off the top, I'm changing my MVP pick right now, and y'all can't stop me. I mean, I know my preseason pick. I think I went with Bobby Witt Jr. He's not really having the year that we all thought he was. I mean, he's still ridiculous, but I mean, it's a two-man race right now. It's Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. Again, really early. We're talking June, right? But what this guy is doing for this Seattle Mariners team is unreal. He hit his 25th and 26th home run last night, took the league lead. So I ask you guys, does he take the MVP crown from Aaron Judge? I'm not really sure. Welcome, Nico. It's all from the Ranting About Baseball podcast. Nice. Roman Anthony will get called up this week. Okay, if the Sox can hold on to this lead in New York, they'll inch closer to the wild card and maybe go on a run. Yeah, I'm gonna get to the Red Sox in a little bit. I don't know, man. There's a lot of question marks around them, and I think it starts with the manager. I'm not too sold on Alex Cora having full control of that clubhouse. They've had a very interesting year starting in spring training with Devers, and then Bregman going down and the rumors of him going to Devers going to first. Listen, I love my Red Sox. I do, but I don't know. They're lacking identity and they need something to change there. I don't know what they need to change. I'm with you. Anthony has to come up soon. I mean, he hit that 497-foot grand slam the other night. That was just absolutely insane. He looks like he's ready. There's just nowhere to put him right now. Now, rumors with Duran possibly going to San Diego. His name's been floated around. That would open up a spot for Anthony. But yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get to him in a little bit for sure. Captain Dumper be dumping. He's ridiculous. And it's not only, I posted this on the page today and someone was like, oh, just because he's hitting home runs, he's going to be the MVP. Well, yeah, that. And he's a premier defender. He won a platinum glove last year. He does it on both sides of the ball. Now, Aaron Judge, good defender, not great. He's not platinum glove worthy like Cal Raleigh. So I'm saying he's the front runner right now. Now, Aaron Judge could go on a tear and hit 10 home runs this week and pull right ahead. But Chad, you're pulling for 70. Yeah, that would be absolutely ridiculous. And this is where I'm at, Captain, too. I think because he's a catcher, if he can set the single season mark for home runs as a catcher, he completely changes that position from a light hitting position to a power position. He's transcending that position and what it's been the last so many years, right? Catchers have been good defenders, okay with the bat, minus a couple, right? Buster Posey comes to mind, pretty good offensively. I mean, pretty good defensively. Buster Posey was a league of his own. Cal Raleigh's entering that territory, if not surpassing Buster in the power department, anyways. So, yeah, for me, I think right now I would take Cal Raleigh over Judge. There's still plenty of season left. We'll see, but I think it's a two-man race at the moment for sure. Yeah, and Nico, I agree with you. Yeah, Alex Cora has an incredibly long leash in Boston. I get it. I just I don't I'm not sold on him right now. He's a 500 manager other than 2018. I mean, 2021 I think was kind of a fluke year. I don't really like his in-game management that much. So I don't know. Again, we're going to dive into the Red Sox deeper here in a couple of minutes here. Ask the Dodgers about the Judges defense. Yep. MVP, valuable is key. I agree, because without him in this lineup, where are the Mariners? I don't know. Now, I want the Mariners to go out and get a trade here sooner rather than later. They need to put a decent stick behind him. I know Julio left the game last night, but I think he played today, so he's back. But Ryan O'Hearn, I heard, is on the trade block. A lot of people are calling for him to go to Seattle. A lot of fans, anyways. I don't know if I've heard any official rumors about that, but I would love to see the Mariners make some moves. We sat here in the preseason and said the Mariners pitching staff, one of the best in the league, but where are they going to get their offense from other than Rodriguez and Raleigh? Well, right now it seems to be all Cal Raleigh, and that's all they've needed, other than the sweep from Baltimore this weekend. They kind of got their butts handed to them. But Cal Raleigh's a big deal. You get a couple more, solid sticks for them at the deadline. Mariners could be a threat running down the stretch here and into the playoffs. So hopefully they can keep going. All right. Corbin Burnes will undergo season-ending Tommy John surgery. Does this mark the end of the Diamondbacks' year? I love the D-backs. I love watching them. Like I've said many times, they are my West Coast team. I love the charisma that they play with. They're absolutely incredible. But this is a big one. Corbin Burnes was their stopper in that rotation. Zac Gallen's having a down year, a ton of walks, not pitching like Zac Gallen of old. They got too many question marks in that rotation right now. And, they lost Montgomery to TJ earlier in the year. Say what you want about that whole situation since they've signed him. Eddie Rodriguez he's a coin flip every time he goes out on the mound. So I think the Diamondbacks are in trouble. Can they put up 20 runs a game? Yeah, the Diamondbacks can put up 20 runs a game. But as we know, going down the stretch and getting into the playoffs, pitching is key. And if they don't have the pitching ready to go, then I think the Diamondbacks are in trouble. And they're in such a tough division that they might not even be able to get in there. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Captain, they're killing it. Offensively, it's not an issue offensively. I mean, their team is so deep offensively. They can out-hit other teams on any given night. But I don't have faith that their pitching can prevent the runs. I mean, they're winning games 12-11, 7-6, 8-6. That's not going to do it in the playoffs for sure. So I don't know. We will see. So, and to kind of piggyback that comment, Captain, their comeback versus the Braves. They had a 0.1% chance of winning the game against the Braves Thursday night. 7-run inning, down to their last strike. Suarez doubles to take the lead in the top of the ninth to win 11-10. That's the thing with the Diamondbacks. These guys score in bunches. They will score 7 runs in the top of the ninth to beat you. They'll score 10 in the fourth, but then those are the only innings they score. It's really weird how they score in bunches, and they've been like that the last 2 or 3 years. They'll score 6 or 7 in one inning, and then they'll get blanked the rest of the game. It's just odd. But this was pretty crazy. I went back and watched it after the show Thursday night, and there are still times in the inning when I'm watching it, I was like, how I was like, they're still going to lose. Like, I knew the outcome, and I'm like, there's no possible way that they can win this game at all. I mean, even the Suarez at bat, I'm like, there's no way he comes through here, and he did. Absolutely insane, crazy game, and that inning was wild, particularly. Braves have some issues. Um, they have a lot of issues now. They are, I think last time I checked, I think 12 and a half games out of the NL East right now. It's not looking too good for the Braves, and I'm gonna start taking my victory lap here. Harrison thought that they were gonna turn around. They looked like they were gonna turn around. They are now 14 games back from the Mets. Yikes. So, and I think they're only 3 games up on the Marlins. Yep, game and a half. No, 2.5 games. Sorry, math is hard. Yeah, the Braves are in trouble. I don't think they can recover from this. They're too far gone at this point, which is crazy. They're so talented. They're deep. I know they've had a lot of stuff off the field. You know, the whole Jerks and Profar thing kind of puts a damper into things and their plan going forward. You have some key injuries to some key guys that have not been great. Yeah, Harrison's not here to defend the Braves, so I'm going to take my shot right now. But they're not playing well right now, and I don't see them. I mean, that's a big lead to overcome, especially with the way that the Mets are playing. I mean, the Phillies are 1-9 in their last 10. So if it was the time to, to jump, it would be now, and they're not. The Braves are 2-8 in their last 10. So NL East is struggling, other than the Mets. So I think the Braves are toast at this point. All right, so here we go. We're going to get into my Red Sox a little bit. I'll come back to Nico's point and all that stuff. It kind of all ties in together. So he hit his first major league home run at Yankee Stadium on Saturday. Is it time to sell and start building around the young guys? At this point, I'm lost with this team. It is a different thing every night that doesn't show up. One night they don't hit and they pitch well and they still lose. One night they hit well and they pitch terribly and they give up 7 late in the game and they lose. They blow saves, they lose in extra innings. It's something different every night. Their defense is atrocious. You'll see on the next slide, I think Jeff Passan said that they have led the league in errors in the last 3 years. Now, I know Bregman's hurt. He would have shored up that infield tremendously. Hopefully get us out of the basement of committing errors. But at this point, I think it's move on from some of the veterans and find spots for these kids and just start building. You have Garrett Crochet. He's the centerpiece of this team right now. You have to now build around Garrett Crochet. I think Devers is a huge part of this issue too. He didn't run. Harrison just texted me before I hopped on. They're playing the Yankees in a close game. He doesn't hustle out a ground ball. He heads back to the dugout, and Cora tries to talk to him about it, and he walks right by Alex Cora, doesn't even stop to talk. So I think it's time to just kind of hit the reset button with them, because I don't know where they go. Now, the rumors are, like I said earlier, Jaron Duran and Alex Bregman, the Padres are heavily interested in both of them. Now, I don't know what that return would be. I mean, Duran still has 3 years left on his contract, so it would be a big return for him. Bregman's already come out and said that he's thinking about opting out because he doesn't like what's going on here in Boston. I think it's time. We thought we were going to go for it this year. Breslow made some moves. He got Buehler. Buehler's been kind of a bust. We got Crochet. He's a workhorse. Other than that, we got nothing. So I don't know. It's only time to sell if you can get your manager of the future, which Cora is not. I agree 1,000%, Chad. I will get to Cora in a second. And John Carter, yes, 100%. What do they have to lose? Yeah. Agree. So you guys are with us, and things are bad there. Changes need to be made. I'm with you, Captain. Um, I don't know what changes I make at this moment. I know that this was the question too. I don't know where the Padres would play Bregman, but I'm sure they would find a spot. And I mean, it's just kind of floated around. I don't know how much of that rumor is true or not, but they would find a spot. And Bregman said he was open to playing second base and places like that. So maybe he goes to second, Cronenworth to first. I mean, the Padres can shuffle some things around there, and he can find a spot for sure. But either way, I think Christian Campbell came up at the beginning of the year, had a remarkable start. He's kind of come back down to earth. He's starting to find it again, which is nice. He just got to continue to make those adjustments. You got to keep the young guys. The Duran one, I don't really want to see Jarren Duran go because I think, honestly, right now, he's the leader on that team. I don't see I don't see Devers really taking the team and being a leader there. And that's who the Red Sox hitched their wagon to. They chose him over Betts. They chose him over Xander Bogaerts. They chose Rafael Devers, and it's not looking like it's the right choice. On the field, yeah, Devers is a beast, right? One of the best hitters in the league. I'm not saying that. But if you want a leader on your team, Devers isn't it at this moment. And Chad, I'm with you here. I hate to see the young guys not get the guidance they need. Changing players isn't going to do anything. Yeah, 1,000%. I think that Cora has lost this clubhouse. Again, we're not in there to see, but just from like the on-field like look of things, it's not great. I mean, he's 552 and 486. So he's a little bit over 500 in his career. All with Boston. We know 2018 they ran the table. They win the World Series. 2021 they make that I call it a fluky playoff run. Kike Hernandez was on fire. But since then they haven't made the playoffs. And I think it's time. I think it's time for a change. I think Alex Cora needs to go. Now, there is a guy on the bench right now that I would love to see replace him, and that would be Jason Varitek. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. Red Sox probably want somebody with a little bit more experience than Jason Varitek, but if somebody knows the Red Sox organization and is well respected in the Boston community, it's Jason Varitek. Now, I don't even know if Varitek wants that job. We'll see. But I think it's time because what else are you going to change on that team? If they don't trade Duran and they don't trade Bregman, what else do you change? What's the only thing you can change? Yeah. Yeah. Even my dog's like, right. Don't they want Cora out too? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Captain. Yeah. The dog wants Cora out as well, for sure. Yeah. So it's time. Because something needs to change. Something needs to change drastically. And I hope it's not the young guys. I don't want Duran to go. I mean, at this point, this might be blasphemous for me to say, but I kind of want Devers out of here. I don't know if he's here if the Red Sox win. I really don't. Yes, his offensive production is ridiculous, right? It's going to be hard to replace that offensive production. I get that. But it goes beyond the game of baseball sometimes. If you have that person in the clubhouse that is not jiving with what you're trying to do on the team, it affects the entire clubhouse. And that's what I think is happening. And hearing that tonight, having him walk right by Cora and not really even give him a second look about not running out a ground ball after Cora clearly wanted to talk to him, that's an issue. That's a big issue. Devers is a natural leader because of what he brings on the field. And if your leader is doing that, just kind of snubbing off the manager, it's not acceptable. It really isn't. Yeah, that's what the Mariners did with Wilson. Right. They got rid of Service and they bring in another catcher to replace Service. Yeah, I agree. So I think it's time for the Red Sox to move on. I mean, to Nico's point earlier in there, he said that Cora has a long leash, and I agree with him. I do. It's crazy how long of a leash that Cora does have in Boston. I don't see it. When you've led the league in errors the last 3 seasons, Cora was an infield specialist in his career. We're not teaching defense. We're not teaching the fundamentals of defense. It's mental mistakes, it's physical mistakes, but we're not doing anything to fix it. That's a big issue. And Chad, this is a great point. If you can get a good return, I agree about Devers. But again, this feels like a Cora issue, not a Devers issue. I'm with you. But if you're going to give Cora that long leash and not get rid of him, then one of the two has to go at this point. I mean, it's hard for me to sit here and say, but at this point, I kind of want them both gone. I do. I don't think the Red Sox can move on and get better as a team and build what the Red Sox have always had as a culture with these two in the clubhouse. Something has to change drastically if they want to turn this around. I'm almost calling this year a complete loss at this point. I don't think the Red Sox have it. I don't think they can turn around. They're 9.5 games back. They show flashes of brilliance where they can actually put it together, and you're like, okay, here you go. And then they go on like a 5-game skid, and you're like, all right, they're playing like crap again. There's no consistency there. And honestly, consistency, I get the players need to play, but that's on the manager as well. The manager has to put these guys in positions to perform, and I don't think he is. And when you can't even get to them on a personal level and they're just snubbing you off, you've lost the clubhouse. It's time to go. But all right, I digress from the Boston Red Sox. All right, so we got some injuries here. Shea Langoliers from the Athletics placed on the 10-day IL with a strained oblique. Like I said, I love watching the Athletics right now. I think the Athletics are one of the funnest offenses to watch right now. And this one hurts. He's been having a pretty decent year at the plate. Mostly hurts my fantasy league. That's why I kind of put this in here. Shea Langoliers is one of my sleepers that I picked late, and it's been great for me. Yeah, John, my goodness, another John. All right, I didn't realize the defense had been that poor for some time. Yeah, Red Sox have been pretty brutal to watch defensively the last few years. I mean, it was really bad. They had that merry-go-round at second base. Sorry, not second place. Second base. And they just could not get any fluidity in any of their defense. No chemistry on defense. Just booting balls, throwing balls all over the place. It's been ugly there for quite a while. Yeah, more like a 10-day vacation with the way they've been playing. Yikes. Yeah, the A's have not had a great stretch at all. But I still love watching that offense. That offense is young. They're going to get better. But this is a little bit of a blow for the A's if they want to turn that ship around. But yeah, John, yeah, another John. It's insane. All right, Tony Gonsolin. Let's get into the Dodgers a little bit. He's back on the IL with right elbow discomfort. Now, I ask you guys in the chat here, will the lack of arm health on the pitching staff ultimately be the demise of the Dodgers? So to me, this is kind of like the Diamondbacks, right? I mean, yes, the Dodgers are the Dodgers, right? They have 5 Hall of Famers on their team, right? I get it. But going down the stretch, you need pitching. And if these guys are still dropping like flies, I mean, they're a game up on the Padres. They're still in first place. But if they can't get anybody on the mound, what does it look like going down the stretch and in the playoffs for the Dodgers? Yeah, I mean, legit, John Carter. Seriously, I'm with you. Who would have thought 37 pitchers wouldn't have been enough? It's crazy. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's the strength and conditioning coach or program that they got going there. I don't know if it's Roberts not managing these guys correctly or their pitching coaching staff is not. Well, that was a weird sentence. Their pitching coaching staff, I guess I said it right, isn't putting them on correct programs. Yeah, the Dodgers pitcher's IL salary is more than most teams. Yeah, I would almost probably go out and say all teams right now. Glasnow and Snell alone, and Sasaki. Crazy. I think the arm health of the Dodgers is ultimately going to be the demise of them. Listen, they're like the Diamondbacks. They can hit. They can put up 10, 12 runs a game if they need to, if they want to. But that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable at all. You're not going to win every game scoring 12 runs. You just can't. It's baseball. It's too fluky, right? You can go 4 for 4 one game. You can go 0 for 4 with 4 screamers and be out. So you need the pitching there to prevent the runs. The Dodgers aren't going to have it, it seems. I think they're very vulnerable at this point. I'm not high on them to repeat at this point. There's still plenty of time for them to get healthy and come back. I agree with that. But I don't know. If I'm a Dodgers fan, I'm worrying a little bit. Like, yes, you're still winning games right now. You're still in first place. You're 5-5 in your last 10. So you're just kind of hovering around 500 and hoping to still sit in first place until these guys come back. And maybe Glasnow and Snell, that's what they did. It's like, hey, we're just going to put you on the IL until August, and then you can come back and pitch for us in the postseason. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. But at this point, the NL's too good. You got the Cubs, you got the Mets, Padres. That whole NL West, minus the Rockies, can totally dethrone the Dodgers for sure. I'm with you, Chad. Get rid of analytics for pitchers. That's part of it. It really is. The spin rate, the velocity, all that stuff is definitely hurting. And I'm with you. I'm with you right here. I think it's the Mets and Cubs right now. And I don't really think there's any other teams that are close. The Phillies aren't there right now. The Cardinals aren't there. They're not ready. The Giants are hanging around at a game back with the Padres. They've been playing well. So, I think it's a 4-team race right now. I think it's the Dodgers, Padres, Cubs, and Mets to dethrone the Dodgers here. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. A lot happens after the All-Star break. We will see what happens. But for me, I think it's the arm health for the Dodgers that ultimately keeps them from not repeating as World Series champions. But we'll see. If it's Dodgers and Yankees again, they both have the same problem, other than Max Fried. And Rodon's actually throwing pretty well for the Yankees right now too. So just interesting route for the Dodgers. They got a lot of work to do, a long road ahead of them to repeat for sure. All right, Bryce Harper hits the 10-day IL with a wrist injury with no timetable, saying he can't really function. Phillies have lost 9 out of 10. So are they in trouble if Harper is out for an extended period of time? Yeah, I think they are. The Mets could kick it into the next gear, and they could put this division out of reach at this point. They're 4.5 games up on the Phillies. Nationals are sitting in third, but they're 11.5 back. So I think the Mets could put the pedal to the metal right now and just absolutely take out this division. This would be the time for the Mets to do it. If Harper's out for an extended period of time, I don't think they have a shot. But yeah, it's tough. But again, I'll keep saying it. Still very early to turn things around at this point, but that's not good at any stretch of the season to go 1-9. But all right, White Sox will have a new owner, possibly. So they entered into a long-term agreement with Reinsdorf that could lead him to taking over the team as soon as 2029 or as late as 2024. it's not a guarantee that'll happen, but Reinsdorf isn't getting any younger. So yeah, um, I don't know why I didn't put this the guy's name in here. I can't remember. Um, but he is Justin Ashibia. Ishbia. Um, he's potentially going to gain majority full ownership of the franchise within the next 10 years. They don't know when that time is going to be, but it could be as soon as 2029 or as late as 2034. So there's a big window of opportunity for Reinsdorf to kind of hand over the reins to him to be the majority owner. I think the White Sox fans have been calling for this for a while. He's current owner of the Phoenix Suns. Okay. Um, so yeah, I mean, good for him. I mean, billionaires be billionaires. Why not? So I think it's good for the White Sox. I think they are a young team that will, I'll get into it here, that are going to get better, right? They're kind of doing it the correct way. They got rid of Crochet, but they got a big package of young guys in return. I think they can right the ship faster than we thought. So Kyle Teal here, promoted to the big club. He was a big piece of the Crochet deal along with Mydroth. And are the White Sox set up for the future? I say yes. I mean, other than that Andrew Benintendi contract, which is kind of just hovering over them, they're just waiting for that to expire so he can get out of there. I think the White Sox are set up to be okay. Are they going to turn around and be World Series contenders next year? No, not a chance. But I think they're all right. They've done a good job getting young guys in there, and those young guys are showing some promise. I wonder if they trade Luis Robert at the deadline. I know that they sat him for a few games this week, tried to tweak his swing a little bit. He came back, had a monster game for them after they tweaked his swing. So, yeah, I think the White Sox could be there. They could turn the page and be there in the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, we sat here in the preseason where like there's no chance that they'll even be remotely decent in the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, listen, 22 and 44 still not getting it done. I understand that. But I think the outlook looks better than what we originally thought. So, yeah, I think the White Sox are in good shape going forward. Just got to keep building and developing these prospects, and they'll be all right. All right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you right here, Captain. I wouldn't be surprised if they find a new home. They can't get a stadium. Yeah, I thought that they had one in the works. I thought they had a deal in place, but maybe that fell through. They're still talking about it. They're saying they're making the 78. It must be a spot right there near the stadium. A 2-stadium mega development is what they are thinking. Oh, it stalled. It says so. Public funding stopped. It was going to be about $1 billion, and they were like, "Yeah, no." So maybe not. Maybe the White Sox. I just don't know if they can move the White Sox. It's such a historic organization. I think it'd be tough for owners to move them, and maybe they do. I don't know. Yeah, it says this was in October 24 when they really started to talk about this. It was part of the 78 project, like I said, 13 million square foot extension of downtown. But it seems to look like it has fallen on deaf ears, and taxpayers don't want to fork it over, which I kind of don't blame them if you're sitting there with a last place team. So at this point, not really sure what's going to happen with the stadium deal for the White Sox. But I mean, could you guys see them move? I don't know if I could see the White Sox anywhere else other than Chicago. I mean, it's kind of almost like moving the Yankees or the Red Sox. Like, It just seems like they would always be there. Chicago White Sox are like that to me. All right. I mean, and I do get this point. They've always been the second act in Chicago. I agree, Captain. It's always been the Cub City for sure, but I don't know. It's going to be tough. I wonder if moving the team is part of the deal for new ownership. That's a good point, Chad. I don't know. It could be, but where do they move to? I know there's a ton of cities. We've talked expansion talk on here a lot. I know there's a ton of cities that would love a major league team. Would they move the White Sox out of Chicago? I don't know. I mean, but why would you? I feel like I would want to stay and make a contender. That's one of the biggest markets in the nation. Why would you want to move your team out of a big market? I don't know if I would. I would try to sit there and turn that team around and make them a contender again. That's only going to bring in more money. If you move them to Salt Lake City or even here, Raleigh, North Carolina, are you doing yourself any favors when you're trying to make money? No. I mean Oklahoma City. I mean, for the Rockies from baseball history, dork. I mean, possibly Oklahoma City's there, the Portland White Sox. I mean, they're all good thoughts. For the White Sox alone, I don't know if I move out of that market. I think it's more beneficial to spend money on that team and stay in that market to build a contender than to try to go to Oklahoma City, to Raleigh, to Nashville, to Portland. Because those are, they're lesser markets than Chicago. Now, the Rockies, I think that's a lateral move, right? If you're just trying to get out of Denver, maybe you do go to Oklahoma City, Forest. Maybe you do come all the way to Raleigh. Maybe you do go to Portland. I think there's places for the Rockies to move where it will improve their situation. I mean, it can't get any worse than sitting in Denver and doing nothing. So for me, Oklahoma City's not a bad choice for them. I mean, it wouldn't be my number one choice for the Rockies. I think if you want to stay on the West Coast, Salt Lake City wants a team badly. And they've already got the hockey team there. They got the basketball team there. Just move the Rockies to Salt Lake. But I don't know. The Rockies are in such miserable shape. It's hard to tell where they're going to go. OKC, why? Just why? I mean, Oklahoma City has shown interest, right? I mean, I think that's where we are at the phase of things at this moment is cities are just throwing out feelers, hopefully trying to get interest from their population, their fan base in those cities. I know MLB Raleigh has been huge here. There's a big group of supporters that want to get an MLB team here. And I'm sure it's like that in other cities as well. So if OKC's doing the same thing, maybe they go. I don't know. But for me, I think the Rockies do need to find a better market. They need to find a better everything. It's hard for me to predict what the Rockies need to do. I think they are the first team that needs to move at this point. There's no market for them. That division is wretched for them. They have no shot. So I wouldn't mind seeing the Rockies move, but as I've said for weeks, Manfred's got to get these two teams that are in minor league ballparks back into major league ballparks before we can even talk about moving and expanding and all of that stuff. So Oklahoma, cows distribution, more cows, oil, and cows. Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, it's not my money. If they want to move to OKC, more power to them. But yeah, and this is kind of what I was saying, Forrest. I think you said it more eloquently than I did. It seems counterproductive to move out of Chicago, but there's something to be said for being the only game in town somewhere else. I mean, I think that's what I was trying to say, and you said it, very well. I mean, Chicago's a huge market. The money is there. You just have to build the contender again, and the money will start coming in, right? But you are competing against the Cubs. I completely understand that. But are you in the black more if you go to Salt Lake City? Do you make more in Salt Lake City than you do if you build a contender in Chicago? I don't know. I mean, if you stay, you don't spend all that money on moving the franchise and moving your minor league teams possibly, then you're gonna make money in Chicago. I think that's where you just gotta stand. I don't know. Um I'm sure you said it very well. I just gotta hear it. That's all. Yeah, that's fine. No sweat for us. He is a well-spoken dork for sure, Captain. Yeah, he knows his stuff for sure. Chad says regarding expansion, the Chiefs are considering moving to the Missouri side of Kansas City. I know the Royals have been possibly tied to the move, but if not, could see another team in KC if the Chiefs move. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's a mess. Like I said, I mean, priority when it comes to team placement, it's the A's and Rays need to get into Major League Parks first. Then I think expansion talk starts. Um, and then in there, maybe they sprinkle in a team that needs to move. But um, at the moment, I don't think I've actually heard rumors of teams moving. Um, so I don't know. Um, it's mostly just the ongoing discussions about expansion. Now, that's another road we can go down at some point because for me, if you have what, four teams that are just absolutely laying eggs right now, is the league really ready for expansion? I mean, you got the Rockies sitting at 12 and 53. We all know about them. We got the Orioles sitting at 26 and 38. We got the White Sox sitting at 22 and 44. We got the Athletics sitting at 26 and 41. Are we sure that the league is ready for expansion? I don't know. I mean, maybe by the time that these teams would come in 2029, 2030, 2031, maybe. But I think at this current moment, if we were to open two new ballparks tomorrow, I don't know if the league would quite be ready for expansion. There's a ton of young talent coming up. I'm not saying that. They could definitely fill out rosters. They could win some ball games. But I mean, you got some teams right now that are below bad. You're worse than bad. So I don't even know if it's time to talk expansion at this moment. But like I said, got to get those teams into stadiums first. The Rays need to go to Orlando. It feels like if St. Pete or even Tampa wanted the deal for a stadium, it would be done. I completely agree with that. I think that's the way the Rays owner is leaning. The ownership and the city of St. Pete don't really get along. Rob Manfred's had to go down there a few times separately to kind of like peace offering between the two. It's not pretty in Tampa. So I think a move to Orlando would be incredible. And Orlando seems like they're rearing and ready to go to bring the Rays or a team in there. So I don't know. We'll see if that happens, but I think that's going to happen soon for sure. Probably need to bring up prospects a lot quicker, keep the talent pool full up in the bigs. Yeah, completely agree with that. Yeah, if they go to that 32 teams for sure. But all right. Craig Kimbrell called up from AAA only to get DFA'd the very next day. My goodness. My question to you guys, does having Kenley still going strong hurt Kimbrell's Hall of Fame chances? I know Chad said back here, Kimbrell was making the Hall or not before this year. A player who is washed and hanging on a little too long usually doesn't impact Hall status. And that's fair. I think the biggest hurdle for these guys to get into the Hall of Fame was Billy Wagner finally getting in. Once Billy Wagner got in, then it kind of opened up the floodgates for Kenley to get in, for Kimbrell to get in. I think these guys go in. Now, I don't think it's first ballot. I think they'll wait a couple of years. They'll make the relievers kind of sweat it out a little bit. But then again, I mean, they could have another class like this year where there's not really any new prospects coming in that you're going to vote in. Maybe they do get in. Kimbrell is 5th all time in saves. I think he'll get in. I'm with you. I think he does ultimately get in, just as Kenley Jansen will for sure. But I think it's because of Billy Wagner. If Billy Wagner didn't get in, I don't know if these guys would. But he kind of opened the doors for these two to follow him in. But I mean, that's terrible to do that to this guy, right? Bring him up for one outing and then just be like, yeah, thanks, okay, bye, and just release him. But yeah, I think they ultimately get into the Hall. So I'm with you guys. All right, Chicago Cubs. This was a pretty cool stat. First team ever in MLB history to have a starting lineup consisting of all first-round draft picks. Pretty remarkable since the amount of movement and first-round busts that there are in Major League history. So I think it's very impressive now to have a team full of first-round draft picks, right? Because like I said in this caption here, a lot of teams move their first-round draft picks for, proven talent. Right. And for the Cubs to kind of hang on to all these guys and to have them all start in a game is pretty cool. I mean, how many first round busts have there been in Major League history? A ton, right? We have one overall number 1 draft pick in the Hall of Fame. That's it. One out of every single Major League Baseball draft ever. We've had only one overall number 1 pick make the Hall of Fame in Ken Griffey Jr. So for the Cubs to do this was pretty cool to have all first round draft picks start 9. And it's Theo. You can thank Theo doing Theo things for sure. I loved him when he was the Red Sox. He's the key reason that we won them. And then he goes to Chicago, wins them a World Series. Theo knows what he's doing for sure. But pretty awesome little tidbit out of the Chicago Cubs there. All right. Braves at Giants. I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw the clip of this, and it just it ticks me off beyond belief at this point. Like, I don't understand why we're still doing this crap at Major League Baseball games as fans. Now, I know I'm probably preaching to the choir because you guys don't do any of this stuff. You go and you watch the game, you respect the game, but a fan threw a ball from the upper deck in the middle of a play at the plate. It disrupted the play, but didn't affect the outcome, luckily enough. But I'm just like, seriously, though, stop and just enjoy the game. It's inexcusable. All these fans that are trying to make themselves part of the game. I mean, it's almost as bad as the umpires. We can get into umpires at some point, but just stop. Like, just go. Like, you're paying buco bucks for these seats, and you're gonna get caught. There's too many people with phones out taking video all the time. They're taking snapshots and cameras. This guy just throws it from the upper deck with a play at the plate coming. 2 balls bounce at home plate at the same time. Throws everybody off for a second. There's just no need for it. I don't understand why this keeps happening. And all these people that do this, like, sorry, but your pass for MLB games for the rest of your life is revoked. Like, let people go and watch the game how they want to watch it. Don't be throwing stuff onto the field to affect the outcome of plays. It's stupid. And Captain agree. People suck. I hate it. It's gross. Yeah, permanent ban for these types of actions seems extreme, but extreme seems to be the only way to get it to stop. 1,000%. But even then, it's not even seeming like it's getting them to stop. So if fans want the field to be completely netted in, so they have zero access to these players, keep doing this stuff. Players are going to be almost like watching them TV when you're going to see them live, because they're going to put up some type of barrier where you can't get to them, you can't get them to sign autographs because they're completely shut off from the fans because we keep doing stuff like this. Absolutely insane. You want to disrupt the game, go streaking like a grown up. Yeah. Yeah, I think you'll have trouble from the upper deck force, but I'm with you. Like, sack up and go streaking like a grown up. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this is inexcusable. No need for it. I hate it. All right. I'm going to pose this question to you. I thought this was an interesting topic to kind of bring up at this point. So we're, 2.5 months into the season. Some teams have made some pretty big moves in the offseason, right? So I have, Fried, Crochet, and Tucker here. But which team do you guys think won the offseason? So with the moves that they made, which team has won? Looking at their records now and how they're playing now, which team do you think has won the offseason? Now, for me, I'm kind of torn. I'm torn between the Cubs and the Yankees right now. For me, I think it's the Cubs, right? I think it's the Yankees. I mean, sorry, I think it's the Cubs because we knew they were going to be good-ish, but the addition of Kyle Tucker kind of pushed them over the top. Now, Max Fried to the Yankees is also incredible, right? The Yankees needed starting pitching. They got Max Fried there. But we kind of already expected the Yankees to be pretty stinking good. So I think the bigger impact for me was Kyle Tucker joining the Cubs. Now, at the beginning, when this was all happening, I was like, oh, Red Sox with Garrett Crochet, like this could be, and then Walker Buehler, all the additions they made. I was like, Red Sox addressed what they needed with starting pitching. It hasn't addressed anything for the Red Sox. So for me, I think it's the Cubs and Kyle Tucker and their offseason. I think they've completely won it. I would say the Dodgers could have too, but they got too many guys on the IL. But for me, I think it goes Cubs, Yankees here, but I'm taking the Cubs in an edge for the win of the offseason. And you could argue Mets too. You could getting Alonso back and signing Soto. And Chad said right now it has to be the Cubs. Not many people that thought they would be here. Yankees and Mets were supposed to be in first. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like I think the Cubs had the furthest to go to travel to get to first place. So I think I'm with you, Chad. I think it's the Cubs that won the offseason. With the Yankees a close second, and I say the Yankees a close second because if they didn't get Max Fried with this Garrett Cole injury, where would the Yankees be right now? I'm not sure. I mean, Fried's been dealing for them. So that's a huge win for the Yankees there, but for now, it's got to be the Cubs. And Chad, agree with this 1,000%. Dodgers won't consider their offseason a win unless they repeat. Yep, agree. All right. I don't know if you guys have been seeing these kind of things I've been putting out on Facebook lately, but I put out an MLB death match here. So I thought the first one would be pretty cool to kind of talk about Jose Ramirez or Rougned Odor. Who are you taking in a collision at second base and they square off? Who are you taking, Ramirez or Odor? What other matchups would you like to see debated in the comments or for future posts? I thought this one was pretty fun. We might finally get to see our Subway Series rematch this year. Yep, there's a big possibility that happens. Yeah, I knew Detroit would be good. I wasn't expecting them to be the best in the AL. What do they do in the winter? This is a good question for us because what Detroit's got going on is incredible. They have a lot of guys that are very versatile. They play everywhere. They have a great manager. Say what you want about AJ Hinch and that whole debacle in 2017. I don't know what they do this winter. They might try to bulk up their pitching a little bit more. I don't know. I think they'll be careful about bringing in veteran bats because you don't want to ruin what the young guys got going on. And you don't want to affect their development. And they're developing at the major league level. I don't know if you want to mess with that too much. I think I would focus on pitching for Detroit, to back up Skubal. The Flaherty stays there to back up them. So I think that's where I would stop for those. Okay, Midwest is taking Jose in this fight. Chad Edwards is, I'm putting Nolan Ryan against anyone. Okay. Oh my God, this is a good one. So I have one in my notes that I was gonna make, and it's Carl Everett versus Milton Bradley. Because you want to talk about some loose cannons? Yeah, I think that would be crazy. But yeah, Albert Bell. Maybe I put Albert Bell against Nolan Ryan. I think that would be a pretty ridiculous matchup there. Detroit has some big parts hitting free agent. Yeah, I think they'll hit free agency pretty hard too, but we'll see where they choose to address. But yeah, for me, I mean, Jose Ramirez, completely knocked out Tim Anderson. I mean, he went down like a sack of potatoes. Carl Everett, wood dump truck, and Milton Bradley. Yeah. Yeah, Bradley was nuts, 1,000%. Tommy Pham versus anyone. That's a good one, too. I might have to throw Tommy Pham in there. What was that? Tommy Pham versus Jock Peterson? Was it that when he slapped him for fantasy football? Pretty crazy. And this fight, I don't know. I mean, Rudin Odor also hit Bautista pretty dang square. Didn't get the knockout punch, but Ramirez can kind of get inside the reach there. So I might take Jose in that as well. Fernando Vina, for the way he got home and immediately started jawing after Bell, absolutely plowed on that one. Yeah, that forearm shiver after he got completely wrecked by Albert Bell and immediately got up and just started talking back to it was pretty nuts. I mean, you got to be pretty tough to just get absolutely blown over by Albert Bell there and to get up like nothing happened. Jose Ramirez knocked a career out of Tim Anderson. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, Mr. Clams. Chad's I'm taking Ramirez. Joey Bats was standing after the shot from Odor. So there's that. Yeah. Altuve versus Cole. All right. I like that one too. That would be, I mean, a little size difference there. It might be a different weight class, but we're definitely, that's a funny one. I'd take that one. Tim Anderson versus Batista, the redemption. I have that one in my notes for sure because I think that one would be a funny one to do too. Nobody wants to fight Razor Shines. Yeah. So yeah, I thought these were fun. I'm gonna put a few more out throughout the week here, but thought that was pretty cool. But all right. On Wednesday, it's here, fellas. This Wednesday, we are going to start our MLB Jeopardy. So opening night, June 6th. Did I have the date right? It's not June 6th. I put the wrong date because I'm an idiot. It's not June 6th because that's already happened. So it is whatever Wednesday's date is, which is the 11th, June 11th. This Wednesday, MLB Jeopardy. So what will happen? We'll have 10 weeks of a Jeopardy format questions. If you were on I do it last Thursday. I had Jeopardy questions for everybody. We started all in the 200s and we worked our way down to the board, kept track of scores, and we had a winner. So we're going to keep standings throughout this 10 weeks. And what will happen is after the 10 weeks, you will win rounding third merch and bragging rights. So if you come in first place, you will receive 5 points each week. If you come in first place, you'll receive 5 points. Second place, 3. Third place, 1. So if you finish in one of those 3 spots, you will get points that will carry over to the next week. If you do miss a week, it's okay. You can still come in and you can still possibly earn points if you start in week 3 or week 4. Obviously, have more of a chance if you come all 10 weeks to accumulate your points. I'll keep running standings. I'll show them before each Jeopardy match. But this is going to be pretty fun. I can't wait for this. I think this will be a lot of fun. You guys will love it in the comments for sure. You guys seem to love my trivia that we put together. So this will be just another added show. So we'll be Sunday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for the next 10 weeks. So buckle up, get your trivia hats on, and come join us on Wednesday night. That being said, let's jump into some trivia. Here we go, fellas. This one was sent to me by John Carter. Who is the only pitcher to face Barry Bonds more than 5 times in his career and never let him get on base? So that means he didn't walk him, he didn't get a base hit off him, he didn't hit him by a pitch. He's the only time that's faced him more than 5 times and never let him get on base. Hint is he was killed by lightning. He was struck by lightning in 2008, which I didn't know until John Carter gave me this little tidbit. I was like, wow, that's wild. So I think there has been a Facebook post going around about this guy and the fact that he, not Jamie Moyer. Nope, not Jamie Moyer. There has been a Facebook post going around, I think, showing this, but he played from 97 to 2006 for the Cubs, the Devil Rays, the Red Sox for a year, then finished with the Mets and the Brewers. So wasn't around long, but this would be a pretty ridiculous poll if you got it. I definitely remember of him, but don't quite remember much of his career. But this one is Jeremy Gonzalez. So Jeremy Gonzalez is the answer there. All right. Urbina, that's a great guess. You get Urbina. Now, he didn't get struck by lightning. I think he's actually in prison for murder, if I remember right. But close. Al Leiter. No, not Al Leiter. But yeah, Jeremy Gonzalez. All right. Here's the next one. Who was the first pitcher to win a Cy Young Award in a season where he pitched for 2 different teams, one each in the AL and NL? He went from the AL to the NL and won the NL Cy Young Award. So who was the first pitcher to do that? He went, I think if I give the 2 teams away, it might give it away. But I will do that in a second if you give. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, Ugueth Urbina was... Oh, he was arrested for attempted murder. That's what it was. Sorry. From an incident in October 16th. He assaulted 5 farm workers on his property because they stole one of his guns. So it was a 14-year prison sentence he was. So I thought it was murder. It was attempted murder. My bad. Yep. All right. Does anybody have this one? The 2 teams that he was on the year he won the Cy Young Award, he started in Cleveland and went to the Cubs. Obviously, starting pitcher. Anybody know this one? No, he's not Randy Johnson that has a bag of baseball on his nightstand in case a robber comes in. But no, not him. Nope, not CC. Not you. It's Rick Sutcliffe. Nice job. Baseball history dork, Rick Sutcliffe. Yeah, John had the Rick part right, but not Russell. Ruschel? But yeah, Rick Sutcliffe is correct. Rick Ruschel. He was okay. That's a name I haven't heard in forever. Nice. Yes, Rick Sutcliffe. Good. Damn wrong, Rick. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Name the baseball movie by actors listed. John Ashton, Luke Edwards, Ashley Crowe, Pete's mom, Mickey Templeton, Carlos Baerga, Wally Joyner, Dave Magadan. Name the baseball movie by actors. Well, yeah, it wasn't Rick Roll either. Oh, man. All right. Has anybody got this baseball movie? Yes, Little Big League. Nice job, Chad. Nice job, John Carter. Yes, Little Big League. This is honestly one of my guilty pleasures. I love this movie growing up. Um, I absolutely love Billy Haywood, and I love this movie. So, Little Big League is correct. Nope, not Rookie of the Year. That one was Ian Scott Thomas. Was that his name? I always all those guys, those actors in the '90s had the three names in there. It was what was his name? I think I was right. Ian Scott something. No, Thomas Ian. That's what it was. Thomas Ian Nicholas. But yes, yep, good. Little Big League. Good, y'all got it. Yeah, those are two. They came out literally about the same time. So yeah, it's easy. And yeah, go Twins. That's right, John. All right, here's the next one. Which current Chicago White Sox outfielder debuted with the Red Sox, but also spent time with the Royals and Yankees? Yes, he's the kid from American Pie for sure. Yep. Yeah. Which Chicago White Sox outfielder debuted with the Red Sox, but also spent time with the Royals and Yankees? Benintendi is correct. Nice job, Chad Edwards. Andrew Benintendi is correct. All right. Here is the next one. Yep, you guys got it too. John Carter, good. Where is this MLB player from? Catcher from 2012 to 2024, debuting for the Blue Jays and immediately going to the Indians the year after and played there until 2018. He then went to the Nationals, A's, and then finished with the Cubs last year. So you got to identify the player and what country he's from. I definitely like when I think of this guy, I definitely think of his time with the Indians there during that stretch. I mean, pretty regular catcher for them. 88 games, 135 games, 95, 112, 105. He was their backstop for sure during that stretch. He has one All-Star in 2018 with the Indians, and he's got a Silver Slugger in 2014 for the Indians. He wore number 7 with them, number 10 and number 7 with the Indians. Yan Gomes is correct, but not Venezuela. Yan Gomes is correct. Yan Gomes, Brazil is correct. Yes, nice job. Yes, you guys got it. Yan Gomes, nice. Good. All right. I got 2 more for you here. I got 3 more for you. Sorry. MLB player's last name starting with Z. So he's a current relief pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim who debuted in 2024, but currently has pitched 21 and 2/3 innings and has recorded 31 strikeouts. And honestly, I think this guy has the best name going right now. I love this guy's last name. It's unique, and I love it. But I've been watching. It is Ryan Zephyr John. Yes, nice job, John. Yeah, I've been watching the Angels quite a bit this year. This dude's pretty good. He's got some good stuff. The Angels also made a move today. They just picked up Lamont Wade Jr. after the Giants DFA'd him. So the Angels aren't sitting around. Like, they're an interesting team for me right now. I think they still believe that they have a shot to make a run. I mean, I don't know exactly like how deep of a run, but I feel like I feel by watching them that they have something to prove, that they're going to play better. But we'll see. I mean, it's the Angels we're talking about. But yes, it is Ryan Zephyrjan. Good. All right. This next one's a little fun. So here we go. Let's see if you guys can get it. One letter changes everything. So I need both words. So they're not necessarily, one is a baseball name, the other one's not. Okay. Actor's first name from the original Bad News Bears, Grumpy Old Men, and Dennis the Menace, and current first baseman for the Astros that just signed a free agent deal in the 24-25 offseason. So I need both. Like I said, one letter changes everything. Need both words. This was kind of a fun category to kind of do. Loved it. Has anybody got this one? So this one's cool because you can get it like either way. You can either get it from the first part and kind of piece it together with the second part, or vice versa. So this is kind of a new one. I haven't tried this type of question before. Does anybody get this one? Yeah, so Christian Walker and Walter Matthau. So the two that I was looking for was Walter and Walker, because the K and the T, one letter changes everything. So Walker and Walter is what I was looking for. Yes, nice job. Yeah, it's Walter Matthau. Good. But yep. So Walter and Walker, they interchange with one letter. So there we go. All right. The last trivia question I got for you. Oh, sorry. Here it is. Walter and Walker. All right. Last question here. It's Miller time. Which current MLB closer finished his college career at Gardner-Webb and went through all three levels of the minor leagues in 2022 and then made his debut in 2023? This one is pretty much a layup, I would say, to end it on an easy one. Yes, it is absolutely Mason Miller. Nice job. Yep, absolute layup there. So Mason Miller is correct. Fellow type 1 diabetic like myself. So pretty awesome. Yep, Midwest got it. Mason Miller, nice job. There we go. All right. So yeah, this is the part of the show where it is yours, fellas. Is there anything pressing that you would like to talk about? Yep. Captain got it. Miller, nice job. Anything pressing you guys want to throw out, talk about at all here? So like I just said, Lamont Wade Jr. is kind of joining the Angels here. Let's see. Judge Homer tonight again. Alonso passed David Wright for the all-time He's now second place, I think, for most home runs in Mets history. George Kirby struck out 14. Crazy. Mariners just keep pitching. But yeah. So that, I mean, I don't really have much. We kind of covered a lot of it. I mean, Paul Skeens had another ridiculous outing today and got the no decision. I mean, absolutely silly. But the Pirates swept the Phillies. So that's the poop series. If you guys know the poop series. But and then we got Caglianone had his first four hit day of his career. Pretty ridiculous. The young talent coming up. DeGrom had another great outing Saturday. Yeah, I mean, for me, he is the biggest what if ever for me. I don't know what this guy's numbers would look like if he had a healthy career. It's too bad we were robbed of prime years of Jacob DeGrom. I'm like sad, but like glad I got to see glimpses of it. I have a lot of mixed feelings about Jacob DeGrom. Got robbed for sure. What are the early returns on Vlad's play since he signed that big contract? Will he be worth it? That's a great question, Midwest, because I thought for sure he was going to be an animal. Now, I mean, now that he's settled in, he knows the contract situation, doesn't have that hanging over his head. He's not really having a Vlad Guerrero type season. He's got 8 home runs, 276 batting average, 29 RBIs. I mean, I think he's a product of what that Blue Jays team is, and that's mediocrity. I don't see him kind of breaking out of it right now. I don't know. It's hard to judge what the Blue Jays are. I don't think at this point his contract is going to be worth it. But yeah. Oh, what if Byron Buxton's on my list for sure? 1,000%. I've said it before. He's a perennial 40-40 guy if he's healthy. Especially 2 or 3 years ago. Guy can mash. The guy can run. He is made out of glass. So Byron Buxton's way up there for me. It's all right, John. Welcome, buddy. Sorry late to the show. Skeens got Felix again today. Just said, yeah. George Kirby has officially arrived for the 2025 season. Yeah, I literally just like ran by those ones real quick. Paul Skeens, 7 innings, 2 hits, a boatload of Ks, no decision. George Kirby, 14 Ks, mowing people down. Yeah, and he should have never signed that deal. I don't think the Blue Jays should have signed that deal. I don't. That's going to be a tough one to live up to, I think, and I don't think the Blue Jays are going to like the outcome of that. I think that's going to be a lot of money that they wish that they had back. But we'll see. I mean, it is hard because he is a good hitter. I don't know. I don't have any faith in. It's not so much that I don't have any faith in Guerrero. I don't have any faith in that Blue Jays team. And if they don't put anybody behind him or around him, which they thought they were doing with Santander, and he's not really having a fantastic season. And what's Santander? He's at 179 with 6 homers. Yeah, it's tough. I don't. The Blue Jays are the Blue Jays. They're mediocre. It's crazy. Anyone interested in the College World Series? I wish I was into it more than I am. I haven't been really following it, I'll be honest. But I know a lot of number 1 seeds have lost. I think UNC lost today. They were a number 1 seed. They got beat. They're out. Vanderbilt lost. So a lot of upsets there. Before today, Skeens had pitched 8+ innings 3 times, 0-3 with a 1.46 ERA. That is brutal. Wow. Yikes. That's goodness gracious. That's bad. He's going to be dealt, but who's taking that deal? Dodgers, Yanks, Cubs, Red Sox? It's too early for him to be dealt at this point. No one's going to take on that monstrosity. He literally just signed the extension. I mean, those would be really the only four clubs that could possibly take him. The Phillies won't because they got Harper sitting at first base, so they wouldn't. The Dodgers have Freddie Freeman, and you have Ohtani as your DH, so I don't think the Dodgers would do it. I would have. The Red Sox were in position to make a run at Guerrero, really, before he signed this extension. All talks were like he wanted to go to Boston. He's retracted the statement about not going to the Yankees, like he said before. Cubs is an interesting one. I think the Cubs could afford him. I think they could find a spot for him. I mean, you got who's playing first for them? Is it Bush or is it wow, I'm drawing a blank. I think it's Bush for them. Or it's the other lefty. But yeah, Cubs are an interesting fit for Guerrero for sure. I could see him in Chicago for sure, but interesting. Dude, Devers and Guerrero swap just straight up. I think the Sox would have to give up a little bit more money wise. Because I think Devers was 10 years for 300 million, I think. And he's got 8 years left on that, I believe. And then Guerrero just signed so he got $331 million, 11 years. So I think he's got 8 years on that left. That was in 2025. No, just kidding. Either way, the money doesn't quite match up. They'd probably have to work something out. But I mean, I could see that. But thanks, Midwest. We'll see you later, buddy. Yeah, Shaw's playing third. Yeah, I think Bush is playing first for them. So I think Guerrero could go to first or DH for them, for sure. Yeah. He should have signed a 4-year deal, then signed the Omega on my way out the door deal for the last 4 or 5 years of his career. Yeah, I think for these guys, it's kind of hard for them to just sign a 4-year, 5-year deal when you're 28, 29, because that leaves you to 34, 35. Not a lot of teams are looking for a 35-year-old free agent. So that's why they're signing the longer term deals for job security. But I mean, I could see that Guerrero's young. He was 25, so 25 or 26. So 4 or 5 years gets him to 30 years old. And then he could have signed a 8 or 9 year deal out of there, possibly. But so I mean, yeah, it's a good point, but we'll see. They'd probably have to throw in a few more prospects than just Devers straight up. Yeah, Guerrero's up there with Ohtani, Soto, and Judge. I agree. Like he's having a down year, but I mean he is one of the premier hitters in the league when he's right. But I wouldn't mind that if they decided to kind of do that with Devers, kind of just shake things up in Boston. Boston needs to get shookened up, shaked up for sure. Josh says, do you think the Braves can make the playoffs after their horrible run? No. And I'm with Captain. I think the Braves are cooked now. I don't think they have a shot. They're too far out, too many injuries. They got no shot. The Mets are running away with that division. I don't think they can turn this ship around. There's no chance. For me anyways. Are they good team talent-wise? Yes. Have they put it together? No. They're 14 games back. I think they're too far gone at this point. I'm with Captain. It's too bad, especially living in North Carolina. I have a ton of Braves fans around me, and even they're just like, yeah, we're already looking on to next year. Yeah, everyone thought the Mets were too far out last year. Granted, they don't have the same spark. Yeah, agree. And the Tigers last year too kind of came out of nowhere too last minute. I mean, last minute, it was the last month and a half, but I mean, there still is a lot of baseball to be played. I mean, but 14 games is a lot of games to make up. I mean, they have to go on a run, and the Mets and everybody else kind of have to skid quite a bit. I mean, Nationals are up on them by 3.5 games, or no, 2.5 games. Sorry, Phillies are 4.5 back from the Mets. So I mean, Braves got to get absolutely hot. Everybody else above them has to go super cold. Um, and I don't think their record's not even close to a wild card. So um, I think the Braves are cooked. I don't think they don't have, to Arnold's point, I don't think they have that same spark. They're missing something. Um, I don't I don't know what it is, but they're missing it. The Braves are another team that needs a skipper change. Yep. I agree. I think Snickers kind of run his course there. Um, Acuna's already called him out, about the whole Kellenic situation. Front office dealt with that. They just got rid of Kellenic. But yeah, I agree. I think they need to get rid of him for sure. Um, yeah, injuries are the big problem with them. I agree. They probably won't. Injuries are huge, and when you got a team that can't stay on the field to sustain a run, you're in trouble, and that's the Braves right now. Ooh, Metal Keith, this is a great question. Who do you think can acquire Sandy Alcantara? Will he be traded? New Cubs ace. It's hard because Alcantara has not had a season like they thought he was going to. Coming off the Cy Young year, then having Tommy John, and then coming back, everybody thought he was ready to go. We're sitting at a 2.7, which, not necessarily his fault. What is his fault is a 7.89 ERA in 12 games started. 57 innings pitched, only 44 Ks. That's not the Sandy Alcantara that we are used to seeing. He is struggling bad. I think he could get dealt. I don't know if he'll go to a contender, or because they'll probably want a guy that's having a decent-ish season. I think he could go to one of those like bridge teams, bubble teams that are right on the edge. They need an extra push to get into the postseason. That's where I kind of see Alcantara going. Maybe he goes back to the Cardinals if the Cardinals are close. Maybe the Cardinals would like him back because he started his career with the Cardinals before being traded to Miami in 2018. Could possibly happen there. I mean, maybe the Cubs take a shot on him, but especially with their injuries and stuff too, maybe. I thought the Red Sox were going to be in on him at some point. They're not. He was actually, believe it or not, my AL Cy Young pick. So I know he's in the NL, but I thought for sure, with all the rumors flying around in spring training, he was going to get dealt before the season started. And I expected him to pretty much end up in New York. And I was like, yeah, he's my AL Cy Young pick, or my AL. It was my AL something. I think it was my comeback player of the year. But yeah, I think he does get traded. But if he can turn it around, no one's taken a 7.5 or almost an 8 ERA at this point in 12 starts. I don't think many teams are looking for that. I will say it's hard to count teams out this early with all the wild cards. That's fantastic point, Captain, for sure. It's tough. Yeah, John Carter, Alcantara hasn't been good in 2 years. Yeah, it's tough. No Judge for the Derby. Does MLB need an incentivize the Derby more to ensure the top sluggers go, or is it not that big of a deal? I mean, it's starting to turn into the NBA slam dunk contest, right? Where like you don't know many of these guys' names. Like, yes, baseball players, like we all know who's going to the home run derby, but you're right, it's not the top guys. Um, I think they could incentivize it more, maybe what they do. I don't know. Maybe they make it a money bonus. I don't know how they'd be able to do that. I'm not sure. But I mean, I kind of don't blame Judge. It does, historically mess with people's swings, and they struggle coming out of the All-Star break. Maybe that's not what Judge is looking for at this moment. I mean, I wish it was, because that show he put on in Miami when he was in it was incredible. Like, he was just hitting them off the roof out there, hitting moonshots. Um, I don't think the players really care about it anymore. The fans want to see the big guns. They're not going. It's starting to turn into the NBA dunk contest at this point, where it's just a bunch of no names that go and hit, and that's it. Yeah, 1.58 whip, not gonna get it done. Not gonna get it done. And then I thought for sure he was going to either Sox or Yanks. I'm with you, John. That's why I picked him for AL Comeback Player of the Year. But I love seeing Julio in the Derby. He always comes out of the break on fire. Yeah. Is it $1 million for the winner? I mean, it could be. Um, the lesser known guys go for it to make money. Yeah, I agree. The guys who have massive contracts probably let the guys who don't get make money take a shot. Yeah, that's a great point. Maybe that's what they do. They let the other guys kind of get in it. All-Star games are just a sideshow at this point. The bananas are more entertaining. Yeah. I want to do almost what hockey does, and they do like a skills competition. I would love to see that. Like, like quickest, like first to third or home to first. Some sort of like speed event would be cool. Like hitting accuracy. Put a whole bunch of targets out in the field. I think Japan does a bunting derby, and the place goes nuts for it. They have to try to bunt it onto a target. I love that stuff. I think a skills competition for the MLB would be incredible. Um, and maybe that's something they pivot to later down the road just to spark it. But like, can we please just get rid of the celebrity softball game? That's the dumbest thing ever. Like, I don't even watch it. I don't even bother spending my time watching that. It's brutal. Um, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think there's got to be some prize, but it's obviously not enough for these big guys to want to go and possibly jack up their swing for the second half. It's not a big enough incentive, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense that it's around $1 million. Yeah, football did it this year also. Yeah, I mean, they've gone to flag football now in the Pro Bowl just so people don't get hurt. Um, yeah, so Alonzo donated his funds. So yeah, it's got to be the prize pool is a million. Um, and he donates it, but pretty cool. Yeah, outfield throw to targets. I would love that. That would be incredible. But yeah, and Arnold, yeah, with you. I think you set up a whole bunch of targets in the outfield, infield. They got to hit it through certain ones or hit it onto certain ones. I think that would be incredible. I'd love to see guys with back control go out there and just pepper some targets all over the field, get different point totals. Yeah, pop times for catchers. That would be a great one. I love that one. Just do a full on skills competition, I think would be incredible for the All-Star game. So when we put together our fan union, John, since you are our secretary, why don't we just we'll put that at the top of the notes. We'll reinvent the All-Star game there. Um, so All-Star, we have umpires we need to talk about, and it is now All-Star skills competition. So those are the first two notes on our fan union agenda. So when we get that together, make sure you jot that down, John Temple. So all right. Well, All-Star voting has opened, so you guys can start voting on your favorite All-Stars. I'm sure we'll have an updated, vote tally at some point here in the next week or two as they keep coming in. But make sure you vote for your favorite guys. Yeah, Real Muto has the fastest pop time in the MLB. He did a few years ago at least. Yeah, he's still up there. Um, I know Gabriel Moreno was pretty decent. He was up there for a little bit. There's a couple other guys that have crazy pop time out there. There's some guys that don't. Yeah, derails. Mets about to run away with the division, no doubt. It's scary out there in the NL East for sure. Do we need official minutes from this meeting? We aren't officially formed yet, Captain, but I will inform you when we do. Does anybody second that? Playing center field and second ball. I took more pride in tossing dudes out at the base pass, saving my pitchers from runs. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, and Chad, I still do like that. I'm with you. I like this. North America versus the world format. But the thing with that, like, does the Caribbean also fall into the North America category? It does, right? So would you just have like the guys from like Venezuela, Japan, and like Europe play on that all-star team? So then the North America team would be pretty loaded. I mean, it's still a cool concept. Maybe tweak it a little bit, but yeah, I like that kind of format. I think the players would be for it too. It'd be bring a little country pride and like where they're from to the All Star game. It'd be something unique and different. Since you're not playing for it you're not playing for anything anymore from the All Star game. The union has spoken. All right, but yeah. All right, fellas. I'm going to call it a night. I got to rest up, save my voice for Jeopardy on Wednesday. So, like I said, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when Jeopardy will start. I'll start the live. I'll wait a few minutes. We'll get some people in here. We'll get the show going. Great prizes on the line. It'll be your choice from the Rounding Third shop. I'm thinking either the tumbler or a t-shirt and bragging rights. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So Wednesday, keep your eye out on the page. I'm going to keep putting out reminders about it. But come join the fun, get some bragging rights, answer some trivia. And we will have a blast then. Hopefully, Harrison is back on Thursday. Treatment's going well. He's almost ready to come back. He is missing you guys terribly. He told me today to say hi to you guys for him. He will be back, and I can't wait to get him on to give my voice a rest in between here. But as always, I thank you guys in the chat. You guys are incredible that you keep coming back, every 3 days to listen to me talk about baseball. And you guys are a huge reason why. You guys are incredible. I love talking baseball with all of you guys. I know I talk to you guys a lot during the week too, but really appreciate the support. And it goes a long ways for me. So really appreciate it. Yeah, John, I'm sure we're going to be texting back and forth here, Mariners and D-backs the next 3 days because my boys are playing his boys. So let's go. Snakes alive, baby. But all right. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for Jeopardy, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy your week, fellas.